let's get started. So you can go to Mama's Doing Decor on Etsy. The link is in the description to purchase your downloadable template. And what you'll do is you'll print it off at your at-home printer, and you'll receive a guide that shows you how to put the puzzle pieces together. And then they will print out on several sheets of paper. So for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of paper. You want to make sure you line up the edges of the paper so that it creates this nice rectangle. And then you'll likely have little margins, and it's okay that there's that little white space. You'll just want to make sure it has a nice rectangular shape to it, and then you can begin to cut. So cut on the outer edge of the black line. And then once you have that all cut out, you can get your foam core. Then place that number onto the foam core, and you can line up the edges so that you have less cutting to do. So line up the edges at the bottom, on the sides, as much as you can. It'll just be easier overall, and you will use less foam core. So then you can either use tape or pins to pin it down. It's optional, but I find it very helpful, because then you can, it doesn't slide around on you when you're cutting. So go ahead, I just use sewing pins, and then you can use a utility knife, or if you have an X-acto knife, anything like that will work out great. It is a great idea to put in a new blade. If you don't have a new blade, it might crumble a little bit. But you can score on the first, as you cut, you can just kind of score it, and then you can cut all the way through on the second time. Unless you just want to go for it, that's fine too. But I find I'm more exact if I score it first and then I go back through, go all the way through. It's way easier to cut the second time. And then you can kind of just dance around your board and cut all the way around it. And then you can just, you kind of wiggle a bit to get it all the way out. Remove all the pins. You can remove all the paper off of it. And next you're going to construct the sides. So the side of the mosaic. So I do 6 inches for this 3-foot one. So you can see I just do 6 inches, and I have a 12-inch ruler, and then line up the top with the flat edge. Just do 6 inches all the way down. Follow my lines. For this 3-foot one template, you'll need 3 36-inch strips. Do that process again and again and again, or you can do that process once and then use that as a guide and then kind of cut that same sheet again. So then next, when you put the sides on, you can see that you kind of create it as you go. There isn't a specific template for that. So you line it up with one edge, and you then use a pencil, kind of mark where the edge of it hits the top of the one. Same thing here. Mark the edge and then you'll just cut off that remainder. I like to use a ruler to be more exact. Some people are better at cutting straight than others. So then once you have the correct size, you'll want to get your glue gun out and set it on low, because then it dries faster. So go ahead, you can use packaging tape too if you don't have a glue gun. If you are putting this mosaic outside, the glue gun is a bit more secure, so it might be a great choice to do that. And then go ahead and re-secure it. You can add more glue in. And I like to hold just for a few seconds. And in this process, you can always use those pins to help kind of hold the walls together as you construct it too. If you're, if you're making a 5 foot or 7 foot, a larger size one, and it's hard to hold all of that, you can use the pins to kind of guide you as well. And I always find it's nice to do the corners first, and then do the bottom inside piece. You can use your whole arm, you can use your fingers, you'll kind of figure out the best strategy for you. I like to use my whole arm and push that in. And then you continue all the way around. So you can see here, mark it, cut it, construct it. And if you want to use gloves, to kind of protect yourself as you're cutting, beautiful. Please be cautious and don't cut yourself. So the next step for the curves is you'll see that I'm measuring out. For this small curve, I want to use either a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch, and then I score, a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch apart these lines, and you only cut them halfway. So you just are scoring it, not cutting all the way through. And for the tighter curves, you want to have the slits closer together, like a 1/2 to 3/4 inch. And on the larger curves, you can use 1 inch between. And some people use a ruler here to be more exact. Other people kind of just mark it and go. You can use your judgment there. But the idea is you're really working to create that curve. And then you can kind of just push it a little bit. You can see some of them weren't scored quite enough, so then you just gently push that to create a nice curvature. So you can create the curve first, and then you'll want to cut it. And sometimes those slits may be on the inside and sometimes they may be on the outside, depending on the number. So either way is fine. repeat the process. And I usually use, for the 3-foot ones, I use between 2 to 3 glue sticks, just to let you know about how much glue it takes. And another trick you can use as you're cutting the foam core, if you score it, you can always flip it over and cut it really easily too, once you have that already set and done. And so, yeah, that works as well. And if you want to put pins in, if your glue gun runs a little hotter and it takes longer to dry, you can definitely use some of those sewing pins and to hold things together as well while the glue dries. And it's okay if it's not perfect, you know. I think that's totally fine. If it's not 100%, it's fine. You're not going to be able to tell a lot of the small details if you're, you know, off by a little bit. Go, and then you can always go around and add more glue for security. Again, if it's going to be outside or in a windy area, that's always an option too. So then the next step is you can start to put the balloons. I like to arrange them in the number first, so that you can kind of get your design out, because you can use really small balloons and a lot of them, or you can use larger balloons. You can see they kind of pop around, fly around, but play around and see how you desire to design them. And then you have to have the glue gun on low. You can go ahead and, especially if you're going to be outside, again, you'll want to secure the balloons really well. So you can glue them on, or you can use tape. You know, if it's an indoor party and it's not going to be touched and played with by children, then you can go ahead and use small tape to secure. I've done that personally for a party, and that's worked out just fine too. But you do want to have some type of adhesive, either the glue gun or the tape, because otherwise they would fall out. You know, small bits will fall out, or they'll kind of, yeah, you just want to have that security too. And so usually you can put all the bigger balloons first, and then you can kind of put in some of the smaller balloons on the side as well. Sometimes I take the balloon out, and sometimes you can just kind of look on the side. So either way works out just fine. And then voila! For security, you can always put an extra strip of foam core underneath the number 2. If they're having difficulty with it standing, you can put a little bit of weight in there, some rocks or something a little heavier, or you can create a rectangle or a square additional piece that you can glue onto the bottom of the number, and then that will help secure to make sure that the number is able to stand properly. And there you go. So you can do it all at home and create this beautiful centerpiece for your party, making it feel extra special for this celebration. And so if you are looking for a template, we have a lot of the numbers, and we'll be creating letters and different shapes and sizes. visit the link below at Mama's Doing Decor on Etsy, and you can purchase your templates there and begin to create your own mosaics. And I love to see people's designs, the balloons. You can really get creative with colors and sizes of balloons to really make something beautiful. So please share your results when you make them as well. All right, thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and now go celebrate.